Chapter 11 on the run. You, Gabe, and Cass have made a decision. You're going to follow the enemy's trail and learn all you can about this foe so you can unite the Crimson Beach Covens against a common enemy. You're huddled together, hastily running through a plan, knowing you barely have any time to waste. The trail I smell. It leads straight to the edge of the ley lines. Past them, most likely. Which means our party's about to get nerfed. There'll be weather changes, sunlight, whatever else Mother Nature throws our way. They both look at you meaningfully. If that's your way of asking if I'm ready, then yes, I'm ready for this. I'm more worried about you two, especially the whole sun poisoning thing. Hey, vampires dealt with it before we found the ley lines. We'll be able to handle it. Cass is right. We'll try to travel by night, and if it comes to it, we'll find shelter during the day. If there's any way we can stock up on supplies, going back to the town is out of question, but we don't have to leave totally empty-handed. There's an old hunting lodge not far from here. This way. Inside, cobwebs line the ceiling of the cabin. The smell of the dust permeates the room. Floorboards creak as the three of you spread out to look for anything useful. There was a backpack and some water in that cabinet. Matches, too. I've got a sleeping bag. All I found is a bunch of rope. Are there any knives in this place? We need knives. Gabrielle gives her a mistrustful look, and she throws her hands in the air. For Parker, in case we come across a bear or something she needs to defend herself with. I mean, I'm pretty sure both of you can take on a bear. Not if they have sun poisoning, they can't. But it would be nice to have something for myself, just in case. I don't have the built-in super speed or razor-sharp teeth. You open up a rickety closet, and a smile spreads across your face when you see what's inside. You take out a pair of durable khakis, a utility vest, and notice a hatchet strapped into the leather belt. Well, it's not a knife, per se. It's a legit axe. You can hack and slash whatever you want with that. While I hope it doesn't come to hacking and slashing, it could definitely come in handy. Alright, turn around while I try these on. Gabe grabs Cass and turns her around with him as you hastily try on the outfit. Diamond choice, Call of the Wild. I like the hatchet. Hiking never looks so good. Cass peeks over her shoulder, then turns with a grin to give you a full once-over. Total Tomb Raider vibes, I dig it. You've already forced to be reckoned with, Parker, but now you'll be unstoppable. So, we're ready to hit the road. The three of you gather a few more supplies from the cabin before setting out through the forest under the cover of darkness. You trek through the woods in silence for a while. Gabe and Cass, ever alert for the sound of anyone up ahead or on your tail. We're at the edge of the ley line. The three of you come to a stop facing a nondescript patch of pathway and trees. It doesn't look any different, but you're almost sure you can feel a shift in the air. The point of no return, you guys ready for it? Let's do this. You forge on ahead, and as you make your way through the ley line, not only can you feel the change, your surroundings shift. Trees losing their warm fall colors as the temperate weather of Crimson Beach turns into a chill of a New England winter. The trees rustle in the cool breeze you can practically feel cutting through to your bones. I never realized how much difference the ley line made. I think I'd take the constant threat of vampire attacks over this cold. You settle closer to both of them. You link one arm through Gabe's and reach out to pull Cass closer with the other, visibly feeling some of their warmth seep into you. I'm cold. You guys mind? Fine. As long as Aldahard stays on his side of the human. You know I have a name. She hooks her arm more securely through yours and grins at you. And no butting in while Parker and I are talking. Fine by me, as long as you're actually keeping Parker warm. Your gaze is drawn to Gabe, and you find him watching you protectively. She's what matters here. Their words stoke a spark inside of you, banishing the cold from your mind. As the night grows longer, you look up at the sky, searching for an indication of the morning's arrival. Do you think it's a good idea if one of you carried me for a while so we could move at vampire speed? I feel like I'm slowing us down, and the sun, with it coming up in a few hours... Honestly, I think it's safer to continue at your pace. There's less chance of getting too close to the enemy and having them catch your scent. Agreed. And besides, daybreak's still a long way off. We're still well on the trail. Only way they'd be able to tell if we're coming is if Harlow keeps stomping around like an elephant. If I'd known today would turn into the Hunger Games, I would have worn such heavy boots, alright? That works a laugh out of you. You feel your spirits lift. Just let me know if you guys want to pick up the pace. The three of you cover a lot of ground, the night air feeling less frigid as you push on. Cass fills the silence with a slew of stories to keep you entertained. So, because she's a total sore loser, Val takes the frisbee and chucks it in the branches of a tree with all of her might. And that's how we learn that vampires can still get wasp stings. You're all about to burst into laughter when Gabe lifts a hand. He puts a finger to his lips and motions for you to follow him. What is it? You'll see. Moving carefully, he leads you over to a small hill and points up through the tree trunks where you see it. It's a baby deer. A baby deer and its mother foraging in the grass. Oh, look at it. Quietly slips a baby carrot out of his pack, and he holds out to the animals. On shaky legs, the baby deer trots forward, inhaling the treat and nosing his palm for more. There you go, little guy. Watch the two of them together in a silent awe, smiling as the doe eventually approaches to nuzzle her fawn. After a couple of minutes, you lean over to Gabe and whisper, "So, I expect more nature dates when we're done saving the town." You lean your head against his shoulder. "This is really nice." "I thought you'd like it, and it's a deal." Cass lets out a loud yawn from behind you, and the deer startles. And Gabe whirl on Cass as the deer scamper off back into the woods. What was that for? You literally have to ruin everything. Well, excuse me for not being a Bambi fan. Last I checked, we had somewhere to go. She motions towards a nearby river, rushing fast over jutting rocks. And it means crossing that, which is a piece of cake for me and Golden Boy, but for New Girl, let me just jump on your back. It's not hard. She gives you a look as though waiting for you to ask her for help. You raise your eyebrows. Piece of cake. You won't let me fall in. You take her hand, lacing your fingers tightly through hers and grinning at the surprised look on her face. That's what you wanted me to say, right? Regaining herself, she pulls a smug grin on and pulls you a little closer to her side. Close enough. And then you yank her forward as you step onto the first rock. Well, great. Let's get going then. You pull Cass, snarling and protesting, after you as you hop from rock to rock until you reach the other side. Jesus, you got a death wish or something? Aw, Mom, I didn't know you cared so much about me. What? I thought we were going on a leisurely stroll through the wilderness. Gabe shakes his head behind you. The three of you continue down the path, Cass's fingers laced with yours. A couple of hours before dawn, you come to a clearing deep in the forest. A cliff rises above you, and you're more interested by the gaping hole in front of your eyes. Is it some sort of cave? It's a base to shelter vampires caught outside during the daytime. There's a bunch of them around here. They were used back during the vampire hunter times, before vampires had towns to settle in. This one must be 100 years old. And this here base was founded by Astoria herself. What? No, it wasn't. The Clements inhabited this part of the woods back then. Yeah, maybe according to Clement propaganda, but it was the Venedides who ran this place back in the day. Besides, these hideouts were Astoria's idea in the first place. Guys, no offense, but right now I don't care who founded this hole in the wall. What I care about is what we might find inside. If this place is as old as you say, it might be filled with vampire artifacts and lore. Good point. There's gotta be at least a few cool relics in there. And we might be able to find something that proves once and for all who founded this base. Ugh, diamond choice. Let's uncover this place's secrets. I want to know everything. Then lead the way, new girl. Inside, the base is silent, lit by the streams of moonlight pouring in from a hole in the cave ceilings. Faded paintings on the walls depict figures engaged in harrowing battles. Is that a prisoner? The painting in front of you shows a figure chained up on the ground. Another figure standing cross-armed behind them in the background. Though faded, you can make out a gradient of light colors. And a vampire hunter. Sometimes they'd trap a vampire, wait for the daylight, letting the sun kill them slowly. That's not all the vampires had to deal with. She glares up at another faded painting, showing figures chained as giant poles, as two giant poles as vivid red flames thrash around them. Oh my god. I've heard stories from some of the older Venedides. Sometimes villagers got suspicious of vampires. They gotten too comfortable living in towns. The villagers would round them up, shackle them with silver to stakes deep in the woods, and set them on fire. That's horrible. Yep, and just think, at one time in human history, we did the same to normal people thinking they were witches. Stomach's turning. Your eyes scan the rest of the walls, and that's when you notice a pair of insignia carved side by side high on a nearby wall. Are those coven sigils? Yeah, that's the Venedide's insignia right next to the Clements. They both glanced at each other, frowning slightly into awkward silence. Oh, looks like both of your covens shared the base at some point, regardless of who founded it. I guess that's possible. It makes sense with the whole history. I'd like to believe that some of the existing members remember those bonds. Maybe, just maybe, they can put aside their egos and think back to when they worked together. If they remember those bonds, and they also remember why and how they frayed, and those memories probably aren't pretty. Well, neither is getting wiped out by a superpowered enemy vampire. They're gonna need some unity to avoid that. Make sure to make that your thesis statement when we come back from this recon trip. You roll your eyes and step away from game, only to stop in your tracks. Oh. The wall is suddenly covered in faded streaks of color, and as you look closer, you realize the colors come out of the objects that the painted figures are holding. Oh, those have to be talismans. And the ones holding them have to be hunters. Look! She points towards a figure on the ground, seemingly crying out in pain as they're surrounded by a cloud of silver that comes out of the hunter's talisman. Looks like the silver wart talisman I found at the Harvest Festival. The drawing next to it shows a vampire covering their eyes, surrounded by white flashes. And that one must be the disorientation talisman. The three of you are quiet, studying the violent depictions on the walls. You think they left these up here as a warning? Maybe word couldn't spread fast enough about the hunter's techniques, but this was way every vampire came to this base and would know what to expect. It's possible. It would be a quick way to show the other vampires exactly what they were up against. The longer you look, the more the drawings take an emotional toll. You let out a heavy sigh and lean against the wall, only to feel it shift against your back. What the hell? Gabe and Cass jump into fighting stances, and you leap away from the wall, but it's just a loose stone. Jeez, no girl, I've heard of jumping at spiders, but a tile in the wall? Says the girl who leapt 10 feet in the air. Wait, I think there's something behind it. You wiggle the stone, working it loose until it scrapes out of the wall and clatters to the ground. Oh my god, look at this. Reaching into the hole, you take out a piece of paper along with a golden pendant that's been resting atop it. A talisman with a skull on it. I knew we'd find something. Careful with that. I don't want any of those mud or wall murals coming true for me. The paper might tell us what kind of talisman it is. And why it's stashed away like that. Carefully setting the talisman aside, you unfold the yellowed piece of paper and start reading the tale scrawled within. If this letter has been found, I pray that you are a friend, and that you heed the warning I commit to ink and paper before you. I selected the ideal night, dark and moonless, for my theft. Hidden in the underbrush, I waited until the hunters were distracted with their drinks. Cheers, I say, to the power of silver, and to the extermination of the pass. Yes, silver eyes. And then I struck, unbeknownst to the men teetering around their campsite. In less than 4 heartbeats, I had infiltrated their tents and escaped with a bag full of treasure. I waited until I had gained a considerable distance from their camp before stopping to examine what it was I carried. These pendants are what those foul beasts have been using against us, but how? Suddenly, too suddenly, a needle extended from one of the pendants. Only my own great speed allowed me to avoid being punctured. Those are dangerous and unpredictable. I must bring them back to the stronghold. Returning to our stronghold, I sat down to write the letter you are now reading. The local vampire hunter militia grows stronger. Their methods more sadistic than previously imagined. The pendants that I stole from them, I shall call them talismans, are their newest weapons. They hold horrific powers that help slay vampires. I have seen them used firsthand against my coven brothers and sisters. I have taken them not only so to disarm our enemy, but so members of our coven may study them, replicate them, and perhaps create some of our own. It is a matter of self-preservation and survival. The vampires had planned to make their own talismans. I wonder if they figured it out. That might be how they're defeating the vampires, the other ones, so easily. Hang on, does this guy say which coven he was from? Oh my god. No, all he said was, so members of my coven may study them. It sounds like something, Lewin would do. New girl, don't be like that. It sounds like a whole organized experiment. Figured out, what exactly they had, then recreate them for vampires' use. That's totally Lewin's style. I've gotta agree. This is Lewin written all over it. Whatever, let's just keep reading. There is one talisman I refuse to bring back to my coven, however. It is one I am hiding away with this letter. It is far and away the most lethal. It contains a needle filled with a terrible poison that kills vampires with a single strike. Should the hunters intercept me before I am able to return to my coven, I shall not run the risk of the talisman falling back into their hands. I hope that this letter is never found, and that the talisman remains buried with it. But if you are reading this, heed my warning to all vampire kind. Avoid the talisman at all costs. Picking up the talisman, you carefully press your thumb into the ominous skull engraving and watch as the needle extends. You tap it again, causing the needle to recede back inside. You look at Gabe and Cass, and they are thick between you. Dangerous as this is, it is also valuable. Imagine being able to stop our enemies with a single jab. Those bastards move quick, but that doesn't matter if they run fast right into a poison needle. And the fact that we found it here, now, also almost feels like our ancestors are looking out for us. You nod, mind made up. As you manage, you find an open spot in your bracelet and attach the poison talisman. You collected the poison talisman. Talisman secured, you, Gabe, and Cass all take one last look around the base before heading out and continuing onward. After a couple more hours of walking, the sky lightens and a first few rays of morning peek through the treetops above you. It's starting to get light out. Should we stop and get you two out of the sun? Literally, you could have stayed back at the cave. Gabe and Cass slow their pace slightly, and then shoot each other a look before picking back up again. I can handle a little sunlight. It's still early, we can keep going for a while. If you're sure. But by midday, you can't push the unease in your gut down anymore, especially not with both of them lagging behind you. I can still keep going. Her words come out labored, and she staggers forward in a weaving path. Okay, that's it. We're stopping. Gabe, do you have enough strength to help me find some place out of the sun? I think so. But your blood goes cold when you hear a loud snap in the underbrush, followed by a rumbling growl. Hey, it's a bird! As a massive grizzly lumbers out of the bushes in front of you, rearing on its hind legs to attack. Oh, hell no. Get out of here. Mustering a burst of speed and strength, Cass pushes you out of the way, just as the bear's claws come down, swiping her across the face. As Cass sacks to her knees, the bear rears back and lunges at her again. No. I'll use my newest orientation talisman. Throw a rock, start yelling. Listen to you. You activate the talisman as quickly as you can, sending flashing lights the bear's way. It seems super confused. It stumbles away from Cass, disoriented, only for its attention to land on you. Now what? Parker. He darts between you and the bear, grappling with the beast and tossing it aside. But when he tries to go after it, he only gets a few steps before he collapses. Gabriel, no. As the bear lumbers towards a sun-poisoned Gabe, while Cass still lies collapsed on the ground, a horrible realization hits you. It's up to you to protect your group. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I have to use the Sunstrike Talisman. Tempt the bear with food, swing a branch at it. You lift up the talisman and call out a warning to the vampires. Cass, Gabe, stay down. But they're already collapsed on the ground, so you send a burst of concentrated sunlight right at the bear, sending it stumbling backwards. You would think that would be the disorienting talisman, you know, figuring like burst of sunlight. The bear starts pacing in circles, disoriented from your impact, and you realize that it's your moment. This is it. I have to scare the bear away for good. I'll charge at it, throw things at it, use my hatchet. I really don't want to use a hatchet. Poor little guy's just probably hungry and defending his turf, but whatever. You whip out your hatchet, brandishing it in front of you. Get out of here. You swing at the bear a few times, cutting a shallow slash into its front leg. Injured, confused, the bear takes a step back, and then another, and soon it turns and flees back into the woods. We did it. We did. It's gone. We actually... But your words die in your throat when you spin around and find them both still lying motionless on the ground. Crap. We have to get you out of the sun. Rush over them, grabbing each by the arm and tugging. Please, guys, I need you to stay conscious a little longer. Can you stand? You help them to their feet, but they can barely walk. You wrap an arm around each of them, struggling a little under their combined weight, but determined to get them to safety. It's okay, I've got you. You hurriedly guide Gabe and Cass to the first cave you can find, and once they're out of the sunlight, they collapse. Okay, I have to stay calm. Their sun poisoning won't get worse, but so now I just have to help them recover. You dig in your pack for a sleeping bag, which you settle under their heads as you maneuver them into a more comfortable position. Digging a bit more, you bring out a canteen of water and some crackers. Come on, guys. You have to eat or drink at least. They're vampires. They go num 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 on you, but they can barely keep their eyes open. Hovering on the brink of unconsciousness, a lump forms in your throat as you struggle to shove down the sense of helpless rising within you. Even as you come to the inevitable realization that, again, your blood is the key to getting them back on their feet as fast as possible. I know what I have to do, but can my body handle feeding both of them when they're both so weak? You move over to Cass, watching the shallow rise and fall of her chest. Cass, please take some of my blood. She stirs, eyes cracking open, and peer dizzily up at you. What are you... Sitting her up against a wall, you lean in and offer her your neck. It'll help you heal. She lets out a weak wheeze of a laugh, a voice coming out of her. As a whisper, she lays a feverish palm on your neck to draw you a little closer. This is becoming a bit of a habit, huh, babe? You shiver as her breath washes against your neck, right above your pulse, and then you feel a familiar sharp slice of pain as her fangs plunge in. The bite is rough, much rougher than last time, as her instincts take over. She grips the back of your hand, keeping you in place, her hold getting stronger with each passing moment. Finally, she lets you go with a sated gasp, and when you lock eyes, hers are much more lucid. Her gaze trails down to the bleeding wound left on your neck. Parker. She brings a hand down to brush her fingers against your wound, sending a shiver through you. Thanks, I'm sorry. I'll give her hand a kiss. You take her hand off of your neck, bringing her fingers to your lips as a tremulous smile takes your lips. Never say sorry for being okay. She blinks, stunned, like she can't wrap her head around your gentle words and action being directed at her. And then, like the first stars shining in the night sky, she gives you a genuine, affectionate smile and cups your chin, running her thumb along your jawline. Whatever you say, new girl. You push her back gently until her head rests against the sleeping bag once again. Now rest. We'll stay here until you feel better. Then I'll hurry up and heal. With Cass situated, you turn your attention towards Gabe, who hasn't moved at all while you were tending to Cass. Gabriel? You lay a hand on his shoulder, and as his eyes crack open, finding yours with difficulty. Parker. He's in terrible shape, too. You need some blood. His eyes snap open, and he struggles to sit up. Are you kidding? Hey, this dude could barely say my name, and now he's gonna give me a paragraph. You've already given Cash your blood twice. I can't take any more. It'll weaken you too much. Me, what about you? I need you back on your feet, and this is the quickest way. His eyes bore into yours for several moments before he averts them, shamefaced. Last thing I ever wanted to do is drink your blood. Yeah, well, the last thing I ever wanted is to lose you because your morals got in the way of your health. I won't let you be that foolish. Not wanting to waste any more time arguing, you pick up a sharp rock and slash the point across your wrist. Parker! Wrist smarting as blood rises to the surface. You bring it towards his lips. Drink. His eyes dart to your wrist and his throat bobs. He squeezes his eyes shut and then grabs your arm and sinks his fangs into your wrist, widening the wound. You suck in a short breath at the biting pain, lips pressing together as he clings to your arm, his strength increasing with each passing moment. You squeeze your eyes shut to the familiar dizziness, but when you see clearly again, he has stopped drinking, blood on his lips as he looks up at you with fire in his eyes. Are you okay? Wipe the blood from the corner of his lips. You brush your thumb along the smeared blood on one side of his mouth, hyper-aware of his warmth and the fleshy flush in his cheeks. I am. Now that you're okay. You're about to wipe the blood off the ground, but he catches your wrist with a surprising strength. Don't. It's yours. Don't waste it. Your heart skips a beat as you guide your thumb up to his lips where he licks off your blood, eyes never leaving yours. Oh. He kisses your knuckles before setting your hand back in your lap, resting his head against the sleeping bag. Thank you, Parker, for everything. You brush a lock of hair off his forehead, watching as his eyes slip shut. You split your time between the two of them, doing what you can to speed along the recovery, the distraction keeping you calm. Every now and then you take a peek outside, watching the sun travel across the sky. I think the worst of the daylight is past. How are you two holding up? Never better. You eye Cass, who sits against the cave wall, hunched over on herself as she glares at the floor between her feet. We can rest longer if you need. Are you kidding me? I can't believe any of this happened. I'm a vampire. Vampires aren't helpless, like some pathetic human that faints because of a little sunlight, gets her ass kicked left and right. I couldn't even handle a bear. Yeah, defeat doesn't sit well with her. She slams her fist against the wall, crumpling a section of the rock to gravel. You can tell the outburst takes a lot of her as she pants her breath. Today's been rough for her. Her pride's taken a huge blow. Oh, poor baby. Gabe clears his throat, eyes narrowed as he looks at Cass. I think today's made it clear that humans are anything but pathetic. His eyes lock on yours. We wouldn't be here without you, and after everything you went through today, you're clearly the toughest of us three. I was only doing what I could, what I had to do to keep you both safe. You were amazing. Honestly, I feel pretty damn stupid for always trying to be your knight in shining armor. You obviously don't need it. Gabriel, I do need you. Not to be doom and gloom, but I literally wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. You've saved me so many times. I reach out and brush your fingers against his, holding his gaze with a soft smile. You watch out for me because you care, and sure, I don't need to be looked out for all the time, but you do know how special it makes me feel to have someone who's always trying to keep me safe. Can't be as nearly as special as I feel to have someone like you accepting me for who I am. Oh, how sweet. You and Gabe look at Cass, who tosses pebbles along the cave floor with a scowl. You can tell she's working up to say more, so you wait. Finally, she looks up, meeting your eyes. You were tough today, tougher than I'd seen a human be. I'm relying on you for help. Cass, you don't have to. No, just let me say this. He throws a rock against the cave where it shatters against the opposite wall. Then, visibly pulling herself together, she lets out a heavy sigh. It was a reality check. I had to accept that there's no such thing as being all-powerful, that even immortality has its limits. I'm sorry for dragging you into this whole mess. What are you talking about? If I hadn't brought you to the fighting pit yesterday, you'd be safe at home with your mom right now. Instead, you're fighting for your life against bears and freezing your ass off in the woods taking care of two helpless vampires. Your mom was right about me the whole time. All I ever do is pull you into trouble. Cass, do you think I regret any of it? Like, getting to know you has taught me how to actually live. Like, you've forced me out of my comfort zone. And into danger. Into excitement, Cass Harlow. The thrill I feel when I'm with you, all the running and the arguing and the way it makes my heart beat faster. You give her a playful nudge, letting your touch linger. I'd risk a little trouble in a heartbeat to spend time with you. It's more than a little trouble. Your mom's life is on the line. Yeah, but that's not on you. And with Lewin's ultimatum, I would rather, well, I've gotten involved no matter what. Cass opens her mouth to argue, but you grab her hand before she can say anything. I don't regret a single moment with you. With your free hand, you take one of Gabriel's. Either of you, no matter how dangerous it gets. Seeing you two succumb to sun poisoning earlier, I was more than afraid in that moment that I was when Lewin's fangs were at my throat. You look at them both, choking up as your fear you've been tamping down all day finally rises to the surface. Gabriel, Cass. I couldn't stand losing you both. You know what I realized earlier? The thing I'm most terrified of isn't dying, but losing the two of you. I can't imagine my life without you. Without both of you. Your heart feels like it's warring with itself, trying to contain all you feel for both of them. They share a wary look, an unmistakable spark of jealousy in their eyes, and Cass turns her attention squarely on you, squeezing your hand tighter. You're not losing me anytime soon. Gabriel laces his fingers gently through yours, his voice the soothing tones of a promise. I'll always be by your side. You have my word. You hold both of their hands tightly, anchoring yourself to them as the sun slowly sinks lower in the sky. We have to be okay at the end of this. We have to be. After the sun sinks once more, you, Gabe, and Cass set off again. Though Gabe and Cass have gotten their strength back up, you find your steps slowing, the exhaustion from the long day you've had setting in fast. Yeah, you know, you made sure that everybody else rested. But you didn't rest yourself, you dum-dum. You do your best to hide it, but eventually your fatigue causes you to stumble, tripping over a loose root. You squeeze your eyes shut, only to feel a hand close around yours on each of your arms. Gabe and Cass both hold you, and they share a tight nod over your head. We're setting up camp. You need to rest, Parker. What? No, I can keep going. Keep going like that, and you're gonna trip right into a ditch. Or worse, a camp of bloodthirsty vampires. We're stopping, and that's that. You glower. It has no effect. Gabe guides you over to sit on a nearby boulder while Cass begins to set up camping supplies you grabbed earlier. No longer inside the ley lines, the winter chill comes in fast as the night deepens. Your breath coming in puffs in front of you. You huddle deeper into your sleeping bag, trying to seal in every bit of warmth that you can. Let me guess, we're gonna decide who we're with. Gabe lays a hand on your side over the sleeping bag, like he's trying to will his body heat into you. I'm sorry, I wish we could start a campfire, but the party we're tracking might pick up on him. Don't worry. Get it. Despite your best efforts, your teeth chatter as you speak, and soon you're shivering even inside your sleeping bag. Cass studies you for a moment with a hard gaze before abruptly getting to her feet. I'm gonna keep guard outside. Take this, warm yourself up some. As she stalks towards the tent flap, she haphazardly lays the blanket she's been using over you. Wait, why are you giving you two some privacy? Her voice is clipped, and you feel Gabe's hand tense on your side. Cass pauses at the tent flap as though giving you time to respond. I don't want her to leave. I don't want either of them to. With your heart a tight knot in your chest, you realize how much warmer you'd be if you had one, or both of them, to warm your body up. Snuggle with one, two, or both! Can you both stay with me? Both of their heads swivel toward you comically. What? Are you kidding me? I mean, I asked both of you nicely. I know it's asking a lot, but dibs on the side farthest away from Aldahar. Cass hurries to your side, pulling back the flap of your sleeping bag so she can wriggle in beside you. Wow, Cass, hugging the entire sleeping bag real smooth. Don't need smooth when I'm doing everything in my power to pretend you don't exist. Guys, they snap their mouth shuts and look at you innocently. Sighing, you scoot over into Cass, who smirks. Looks like you're not wanted here, Aldahar. Stop that, I'm making room for him. On the other side of you, you've made a pocket of space for Gabe to slide into. Giggity. He does his best not to jostle you as Cass glowers. Keep your feet to your side, Aldahar. I'd rather fight another bear than play footsie with you. Funny. I'd rather you fight another bear right now. Hilarious. You want to go right now, you and me? Wow, guys. Should I leave you two alone? I'm sensing some serious tension that might be best resolved with a little privacy. It's true. It is true. Oh my god, is it true? What are you even... Don't you dare leave me alone with his golden highness. That's even worse than leaving you alone with him. Well then, now that we've got that settled, I'm still freezing my ass off. Can you two stop moving around and focus on keeping me warm? Right, of course. He shifts. That's still moving. Wrapping his arm securely around your waist, causing your heart rate to jump up. Oh, I think your gross leg just bumped against mine out hard. You feel Cass hook a foot around your ankle, tangling her legs with yours as though to make a point. I'll keep my legs to myself if you can promise to turn your head in the opposite direction when we sleep. Oh my god, I'm gonna smack the shit out of both of you. Fine. Fine. Finally, you end up snuggled between the two of them, and immediately you forgot about the cold as their warmth flows into you. You're hyper-aware of their bodies pressed against you, the rise and fall of their chests as they breathe, and the giddiness rises within you. There. Was that so hard? Giggity. Incredibly. It was harrowing. You bite back a laugh, and when you glance at each of them, they both seem to be trying to stifle grins as well. You lay there in silence for a few moments, enjoying the feeling of being held by them, for tentatively bringing up something that's been on your mind. You know, it seems like both of your ideas of what it means to be a vampire have changed since I first met you. You might be right, but it's no thanks to Golden Boy. For once, we're in agreement. Any changes in me have been all you're doing, Parker. That sounds like a stretch. Your heart skips a beat as he palms gently lands on your cheek, turning your face so you're looking at him. It isn't. You've helped me realize there's two sides to what I am. Yeah, I have terrifying powers, but today showed I have weaknesses too. And that makes me feel more human, less monstrous, plus the extra power I do have I can use to protect those who matter to me. The coven mates that have been my family since my real family died. He wraps an arm back around your waist, pressing a kiss to your shoulder before meeting your eyes again. And you mean more to me than I think I could say. Gabriel, you could try. I'd like to hear it. Smartass. He swallows and nods, starting to talk slowly. Being a vampire every day was filled with so much anger, so much self-hate. I pushed it down and hid it all the time, but all the smiles I wore around other humans were exhausting. I felt like fraud. I didn't know who I was anymore. He leans forward so his forehead rests against yours. But having you see me for what I am and accept me, it's changed me into a better version of myself. You've made me so happy, something I haven't felt in so long. You've made me strong, brave. Gabriel. Your voice trembles a bit. Overcome by all that he's saying, he presses his lips to your forehead. You mean the world to me, Parker. Wow. Maybe I should just leave. Wow, maybe you should just stop being self-centered. No, don't. You turn quickly around, grabbing Cass's jacket before she can start to wriggle out of the sleeping bag, her eyes widen. Parker? I don't want you to leave. Please, Cass, stay. She looks confused before casting a quick glare over your shoulder. He's not the only one who cares about you, you know. Oh, no, shit, really? I know that, really. Me and the MC are pretty much linked at this point. Cass holds your gaze as though searching for whether she can trust your words. Finally, she starts to relax beside you again. The past couple of days have been, well, they've sucked. I've gone from feeling incredible and invincible to practically dying because of some sunlight, but you were amazing. Your heart flutters at the rare smile, one completely genuine, void of mocking or bitterness. I guess what I'm saying is I like knowing that you have my back, and I never expected it, but you balance me out. When I need you, you're there, and vice versa. Together, it's like we don't have any weakness at all, like we're two sides of the same coin. I think that's the cheesiest thing you've ever said. She hesitates suddenly, and this time when she speaks again, her voice is as serious as you've ever heard it. Parker, I never felt this way about any human anyone before in my life. My human one, or my vampire one. Your breath catches in your throat, emotion crashing over you, but you manage a breathless reply. Keep going. I want to hear more. Her eyes widen, and you take her hand, bringing your palm to rest against your cheek. Her thumb brushes against your cheekbone, and she seems transfixed for a moment by the sight of your face and her hand. Just a warning, this isn't going to be eloquent or poetic. I don't need it to be. I just want the truth. Your truth. She lets out a shaky breath, and her eyes meet yours. You make me feel that if we met back when I was still a human, life wouldn't have been so bad. Oh. Your heart twists, and you cover her hand with your own, throat closing up with emotion. I'm just glad we met now. Gabriel clears his throat behind you, and you're suddenly aware of his arm wrapping more tightly around your waist. So, it's out in the open now. You mean a lot to both of us, Parker. And I'm not backing down, Aldahar. Why is it you are so confrontational? Seriously, you were so confrontational. Neither am I. Parker's the best thing that happened to me since I've been turned into a vampire. You shift on your back, grabbing both of their hands, heart twisting in your chest as your feelings threaten to overwhelm you completely. I'm sorry for putting you both through this, for having you put your hearts out there for me, only to tell you I can't choose. Listen, we have two boobas. One for either one of them. I don't know. What do you want from me? This is stupid. I like you both so much, and I've never felt this for anyone either. I don't want to hurt either of you, but I don't know what to do. Your voice comes out as barely a whisper, and as you cling to both of their hands, you feel them both squeeze back at the same time. Hey, maybe this isn't the best time to think about that. Cass is right. Right now, you should focus on getting warm. You cast a surprised look at both of them. Are you sure? But everything I just said... There's one thing Cass and I can agree on, Parker. We want to make sure you're okay. And now that means you staying warm and getting some sleep. You can tell the ceasefire isn't easy for either of them, and a feeling of gratefulness washes over you as you realize they're doing it for you. Heart hitching, you wonder what you did to deserve the two wonderful people on either side of you. First, you gently cup Gabe's face in your palm, leaning in to brush a gentle kiss to his cheek. I always feel safe with you. I'll never take that for granted. You turn around, kissing Cass's cheek as well, letting your lips linger against her skin. Thank you for staying. I don't know what I'd do without you. You don't have to worry about that. Not now, not ever. we're here, Parker. That's something that'll never change. With a contented sigh, you let your eyes flutter closed, the pain in your heart loosening as you relax into the feeling of their bodies around you. After a few hours of sleep, you feel yourself being jostled, and you crack open your eyes blearily. Gabe and Cass sit up on both sides of you, till halfway in the sleeping bag, their expressions alert. Keep it down, new girl. We heard voices outside. That means we're near the enemy's camp. Without further ado, thanks for watching. Love your beautiful faces. Remember to like and share the video. Head down the description below. Links to everything you could possibly want and need. And remember, you can support the channel one of many ways. One would be sharing the channel, sharing the videos that you enjoy with the outside world. There are 8 billion people on this planet, and we only have 13,000 subscribed. Yeah, first and foremost, I want a bigger community because I want to bring more people into the fold. Bring more people who enjoy genuine, good content with a creator that values each and every single one of you. Because I do. Again, I can't say this enough. It warms my heart, warms my soul when each and every one of you share, you know, your personal views. You talk to me, whether it be in the comment section or privately, and you know, I love just getting to know each and every one of you, little by little. You know, what willing you're to share. But with that being said, you know, I just have this kind of goal in my heart that I would like to have a nice big channel where, you know, we can do things for not just one another, not just have better content or whatnot, but I don't know, to help one another, to help the world be a better place, to leave behind a good legacy, and I don't know, just have some sort of good light and good effect in this world, because the world just seems to have a lot of blech in it, you know, let alone worse. So, and if only the world would shift from where bad news is always news and good news is always like 1 in 1,000 shared. You know, bad news is always something that blows up. Good news is something small. You know, positivity is tiny. Just not the world I envision. I don't know, maybe I'm idealistic, optimistic, too much so. But without further ado, I'll say this about this. So, when it comes to this relationship, I'm a person who is always, in every relationship, I'll look at the person I'm with and I offer them an open relationship. I myself don't seek it, but in case they do, because I get it, I'm a human being. I'm not perfect. I can't give you everything you might want, right? I may lack in certain areas, and I may be excellent in other areas, right? And there be maybe someone you're very attracted to, but then they don't offer, you know, everything that I offer. You know, let's put it that way. That's what kind of what these relationships are, right? Or at least what I see them as, is trying to bring wholeness. And let's put it this way. Unfortunately, the relationships that I see anymore, I mean, you look at marriage rates and separation rates and all this garbage, and then hell, dating in and of itself. I think the legendary trio is keyword legendary, to find balance in, because I mean, hell, people can't find balance in duos versus a trio. And maybe that's the problem. I don't know. Communication is a big problem in my opinion. A lot of people need to start speaking their minds and being more open and things like that. I just see this being an unnecessary drama in this book. They both literally and figuratively compliment themselves, right? She's the edgy girl. She goes over the edge. She does things more radically. She doesn't have a filter. He is gentler, sweeter, has a filter. Like, they are literally two peas of the same pod, right? But just both sides of the coin, right? And you kind of are half and half. So that's how I see this relationship. And their common denominator is you. And I don't know, people just need to learn to accept one another better too. That's another thing. And they just aren't willing to accept one another. They really aren't. And then they play, more than halvesies. I refuse to give you more than 50%. Or even 30%. Like, I don't know, it's weird. They refuse to share, even though you're wanting to, because, I don't know, the heart is a place you can love more than one person. It's capable of, there isn't just, I can only give you, I can only give one person my whole heart. When, is that really true? You think about it, you love your parents, right? You love your cat, your dog, whatever animal have you. You love your best friend. You love all this stuff. You're just loving someone a little bit more intimately, right? Um, and sharing experiences and whatnot that you don't say with your parents or your cat or your dog. So, just saying. The only thing is it's you that's gatekeeping from doing those things with people. So, I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of all this and maybe just explain to people my view on this. So I guess that's why I'm ranting at the end of this video. So, without further ado, love your beautiful faces. Thanks for tuning in. Much love and appreciation. Catch y'all next time. Peace out.